I would like to welcome the promoter of Sino-Italian Urban Quality Platform, and with pleasure I introduce Professor Guido Saracco, Rector. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisabetta. It's a pleasure to be here with so many friends and also with important authorities from the Republic of China, with which we have a long-lasting experience of cooperation, mainly with the top universities, Tsinghua, with Scoot in Guangzhou, and with Jiaotong in Shanghai. That is strongly based on the built environment. You have to know that Italy is the country in the world that produces more architects per unit population, and China is the place in the world that produces less architects per unit population. But the amount of new buildings is exactly the opposite. I mean, China is building a lot of things. It's an exciting platform to try new experiences, to plan new way of living. It's doing very well in creating a sustainable world. And it's going to be, according to most experts, in 2030, the best place to live, because it's fast adopting technologies. And so there is no doubt that we want to cooperate with China, and that exactly in the area of architecture and urban planning, we have already set up a number of interesting cooperation in education, in research, in technology transfer, and in designing and realizing new buildings. And I will talk about these active cooperation in the roundtable later on. So this meeting is an occasion to build a new basis for new cooperation that through these exhibits is going to increase the consciousness of population about how important is to cooperate, the cooperation between China and Italy. We have a lot of things to transfer to China, a lot of knowledge. The reputation of Italy in design and built environment and in arts is high in China, and we are proud to be one of the best universities and to cooperate with you, Chinese friends. And so I'm going to attend and look forward to the results of this workshop and to what are going to be the consequences in not only in the exhibitions that we are going to have in China, showing the way also Italian cities are planned nowadays, but in concrete new projects that we are going to do together. Thank you very much, Elisabetta.
I already introduced you before, but I think your contribution could be kind of wrap up, a kind of final remark on this session dedicated to the impact of cultural activities into the quality of life in cities. So culture is one of your lines of work at Compagnia di San Paolo, trying to produce some real effect on the city of Torino and the region. So thank you very much, Francesco.
Thank you, Michele. Thank you also for your nice words. I was on the back of the screen and that I could hear some of your words. And what I would like to do is some very brief thought about what happened in the cities after the pandemic. As you know, the pandemic was quite strong in the larger cities, in the sense that the density of population was, in some sense, the way how to transfer pandemic from one to the other one. starting from this point, there is right now a great concern related to what could be the cities in the future. If you look at Europe, in the last few years, we had some kind of what we can call concentrations in large cities. You know, in Europe, we have mainly two reference models. The French model, where we have one very large city, Paris, with almost the whole country referred to. And the second model is the German model, where we have a certain number of middle large cities, and there is a more spread out in the country, the population of the country itself. In Italy, in the last few years, we had this transformation from a multi-pole country, like it was in the Middle Age, to more one centralized country in terms of big city, and the big city is Milan. And if we look, Milan was one of the most weak city in terms of reaction to the pandemic. Then the reason that I want to talk related to this point is because Compagnia di San Paolo, and it's not the only one, but together with some other institutions, are looking for what could be the new generation of cities. First of all, there is a concern related to suburbs in terms of the possibility that redesigning city, the downtown is not anymore the most important part of the city. But there is one strong interest to involve in the new design of the city, mainly the suburbs. The reason for this is because in general suburbs are less, they have a less density in terms of population. They need for sure some kind of redesign. And what is happening right now, that the design of the city cannot be anymore starting from what we can call the planning of the city. But there are other points that they can be keep in account. First of all, data. Today, in order to design a new city and manage a new city, we need to start with the data, because each of us is a great producer of data, and the quality of the data could be necessary in order to redesign the city and to manage the city. This is the first point. The second point is related to the interconnection inside the city. More and more we know that our cities are strongly polluted, and we needed to have, in terms of mobility, to keep in account what we can call environmental free mobility. And this is the second point. The third point is related to the quality of the services. First of all, education, health, but also more in general, the quality of the life. And the last point is that there is a lot of concern related to what they call the 15-minute cities. In terms that the city could be divided in sub-cities, and each city in this imagination is a city that you can move in 15 minutes, and you can get all what you need in order to get one quality, a good quality of your life. And in these terms, it's there is a strong interest in what we can call this spread out of art infrastructure, art and museum infrastructure. This is it's quite interesting because in this redesign of the city, there is this strong interaction between services in one side, people in the other one, and what is necessary in order to have a better quality of the life in the city itself. Then, starting from this point, you understand that there is a possibility really to redesign in our cities in terms not only of what we can call hard infrastructure, but also in terms of infrastructure related to both the digital transformation and the ecological transformations. And as you know, these are the two main priorities in the European frame that we are going to start in this year between 2021 to 2027. That's in this concern, I think the quality of what we can call the life of people, and including for sure what is concerned to the arts and what is related to that, it's quite important. And Torino could be one good lab for this. You know that at the European level, there is this strong interest for what they call the new Bauhaus. Bauhaus means this new concept of a different of interaction of different activities, different quality of life, and different inspiration inside the city. Then it's really a great moment right now. And I would like also to understand what is happening in China related to this point. The last point is that Italy is a quite interesting country from this side, because it's not only for the city and the suburb in the city, but also for the small centers. And for example, in the middle of Italy, in a region like Toscana, Umbria, Marche, there are small villages with a very high quality. And there is a strong interest for people that they can do also some good work in a remote mode, not living anymore in a larger city, not living more in middle city, but move themselves in small villages where what they need is to have a high quality of services, means education, means interconnection, means health services, and in the meantime, good quality of a multimodal interconnection, in the sense that most of the time they can spend the time in the small city, and when they have to move to work, not in a remote form, they needed to have the good interconnection. Then it's like a renaissance of the cities in terms of design of the city. And I hope that this could be a good stream also for this restarting. After the pandemic, we need really to redesign our life. And this could be a center point. And I will be very, very pleased to get some feedback from our Chinese friends. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I think we will move on. I would like to invite the third speaker, Stefano Buscaglia, Director of Fondazione Links. You know, I've got the information from the web. I know that your company is a link between the world of academia and the market, and you develop cutting-edge technologies and innovative process with an entrepreneurial approach, help to support the competitiveness of organizations to face the challenges set by digital transformation. So I would like very much to invite you to talk about how you view the challenges of a digital transformation and how would entrepreneurs respond to these challenges. So please, Stefano.
Thank you very much. So first of all, thank you for the invitation and greetings to all the authorities and prestigious participants to this event. So as you rightly said, I lead a research center which was created by Politecnico di Torino and the Compagnia di San Paolo, so the two speakers that just exposed before me. And we transfer technology and knowledge in the ICT domain, but also in transportation and in urban development. So very much on topic, I would say. You know, in the last 20 years in Europe, the economic paradigm for growing entrepreneurship has focused on the importance of the so-called agglomeration economies, transferring the economies of scale and synergies, extending from the company ecosystem to the city ecosystem. So big cities have been privileged for public investments, and the territorial disparity was an undesired but necessary consequence, and there was an expected balancing effect further on the peripheral areas. Empirical and quantitative observation shows that this balancing has not happened. As Oxford pointed out, since 2015, the progressive tarnishing and underdevelopment of the marginal areas in Europe and in Italy has catastrophic effects. It is economically inefficient and is socially and even politically harmful. So imagining the entrepreneurial success of a city cannot exist without imagining a development of its rural and suburban areas, looking at territories rather than just looking at cities. Pointing out our attention to the so-called places that don't matter or flyover zones becomes necessary. As links, and in cooperation with Politecnico di Torino, we have recently delivered the strategic plan of Turin metropolitan area, which created the idea of Turin as an augmented metropolis, where re-equilibration of territories has a fundamental role in augmenting the city, and it's a lever for the successful city. So the creation of homogeneous opportunities is of course enabled by innovation. Innovation which is social, just like Guido was saying before me, and technological at the same time. A second matter which I want to point out with two questions. What are the effects of artificial intelligence and technology on society? What impact will AI and technology have in design, project, architecture, in shaping cities, so to say? Well, innovation has a great role to play in this synergic relation between urban development and entrepreneurial development. Smart cities, automation, world 4.0, everything 4.0 needs research and innovation, which is not only technology driven, but also human-centered. Human-centered research is a key factor to reshape and rethink our cities, using those technologies like connectivity, AI, platforms, Internet of Things, that are, of course, considered unanimously as key for growing the ecosystem, but have indeed a double nature of creating opportunities and threats. So without those two elements, the effort of connecting suburban and urban areas and adopting human-centered technologies will rather miss our target to grow local enterprises that we know play a fundamental role in providing wealth to our territories. One third and final input. A rich entrepreneurial environment has clear spillovers on the wealth of the cities. But empirical evidence shows that the quality of life in cities is also a key factor for business growth and entrepreneurship success. So I'm not just talking about transportation, quality, and prices of buildings, fiber optic connections, but also about key factors like access to lifelong and quality instruction, how cities are governed, how local and national policies help entrepreneurship, and even how local taxes are designed to foster a virtuous growth of the ecosystem. So in Links Foundation, as many other innovation centers and in universities, we're working on urban-rural connection and orienting our innovation, putting human at the center. But support and a clever strategy of the local public authorities, local private philanthropic capitals or not philanthropic capitals, intermediate bodies and other stakeholders is key. The innovation on which we aim to work lays also in how those bodies act, interact, strategize, synergize, implement, and perform. So lacking a strong commitment on those topics and these synergetic elements, we will not achieve our target to grow and achieve a healthy ecosystem for entrepreneurs and innovation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I think you mentioned the ICT and also the AI technology. That remind me that last year I also will co-work with Michele on the Biennale in Shenzhen on the topic how the new technologies can influence our life. We believe that technology can help to improve the quality of life, but at the same time, we should make sure that they really work on that and not creating new problems. For example, if I rely too much on technology and then how we can reshape our city and how we can bring people together. Look at the young generation. If they are always work with their computer, you know, that's really a kind of destruction to the sense of a city and community. So I appreciate your remark very much.